Hello, everybody. I'm Sammy Taorminas here. Welcome. We got a great show here today. Me riding solo this week on a special Christmas edition of Between Taorminas. Yes, indeed. Wait a minute. Why am I sounding like Anthony here? Anyway, I'm Sammy Taorminas here. Welcome to Between Taorminas. Riding solo this week, of course, Anthony and Ian are both on different assignments this week, so yours truly is running the ship today. So today we got a lot to talk about. We got the Detroit Pistons, the Detroit Lions, the Detroit Red Wings, also Dallas Stars, and also Michigan State and Oakland University. You know why? I believe Oakland University can win all three games this upcoming weekend when it involves Northeastern, Michigan State, and of course Georgia. So let's go to our first main topic. It's the Detroit Lions. Now, when you look at the Detroit Lions this year, this has been a team that's been riding high. They've been playing very well. And they're coming into the Meadowlands with a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. However, it all came crashing down on Sunday in the Meadowlands, and the Giants won 17-6. Now, when you look at this game, who do you look at? Who do you blame? Do you blame the Lions special teams? Do you blame the Lions offensively? Why they couldn't get into the end zone? Or do you got to give credit to the New York Giants? Well, I would say all the above. Because when you look at this one here, I'll tell you why the Lions, offensively, I still don't think Matthew Stafford feels right. Now, when you look at the finger he's hurting, it's his middle finger, you know? When you're throwing a football, you know, you're throwing it here, that every time when you're throwing it, the last pass that comes out is your middle finger. So if you think about it, that's the reason why he's struggling throwing the ball, you know. So, but I thought Golden Tate had an amazing game the other day. I really did. But when you look at the clear problem Stafford has, he's playing through a very tough injury. Now, it's not like what happened with Derek Carr when he's wearing a bandage on his thumb. The middle finger is kind of like one of the most hardest grips to throw in football. And that's probably why I think one of the reasons why the Lions struggled on Sunday was because Stafford's mechanics were not the greatest. But New York Giants have a very good defense. So let's not forget, the Giants are the only team right now to beat Dallas, the Dallas Cowboys, who are one of the best teams in pro football, twice. And that's because Dallas had a really nice year with Ezekiel Elliott, and of course the emergence of Dak Prescott. Of course, I've known Dak Prescott when he's at Mississippi State, you know, and he was a very, very good quarterback when he was there. I mean, so when you look at what happened with the Lions, you know, they ran into a very good defense with the New York Giants. The New York Giants, of course, they've really improved lately, and I think when you look at the Lions, you know, when you look at the Giants now, they're right now on Dallas's heels right now. And, you know, I think that they can make a run at Dallas, you know, depending if some circumstances do happen. But let's look at the Lions situation now. It's at 9-5, first place NFC North. Team named Green Bay that's right behind them, they're 8-6. And those two teams still have to play on New Year's Day at Ford Field. Most likely it's probably going to be a night game. I really believe it's going to be a Sunday night game because when you look at that game, it's going to have a lot on the line. The NFC North. Now remember, the Lions have played Green Bay in a winner-take-all game. You know, it was at Lambeau Field. They lost that game. So when you look at this year, Green Bay right now is rolling. They've been playing very well. They've been red hot. You know, they just tore Seattle apart. They just survived Chicago at Soldier Field. They shouldn't have a problem with Minnesota this week. You know, so everything looks like it's pointing to that game. You know, and for the Lions, the loss to New York was pretty much stuttering. I think that loss to New York hurt this team. And you look at this team going from inside out, this Lions team has to be, I don't know if they're shaking a little bit. I believe personally that they are shaking. But when you look at this football team, this franchise who really has not had any success, I compare the Lions to like the modified version of Chicago Cubs, where they really haven't won anything. They really haven't done anything to impress me. You know, their last division championship, I believe, was in 1991 when they won the then NFC Central. But they've not won a Super Bowl since 1957. How can I trust this football team going forward? Especially when you look at their next two games. They've got to play Dallas on Monday night, and they have to play Green Bay. How can I trust this team? I can't, because, you know, you look at this Detroit Lions team, they've had a history of collapsing. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if this team finishes 9-7. And we don't know where the psyche of the Dallas Cowboys is right now, because if they start Tony Romo against the Lions, which it wouldn't surprise me if they do, I think Dallas has got the number one seed all locked up. But when you look at this team, the Detroit Lions, they need to win pretty badly. And I don't know if they can go in the Big D and win there. I mean, like, I've said it before, I said it again. I just don't think this Detroit Lions team is good enough. I mean, their defense had some pretty bad mistakes against them on the opening drive against New York to get a touchdown early on. They let Odell Beckham They let Odell Beckham have a big day. Can't do that. Can't let Victor Cruz salsa dance in the end zone. His dad thankfully was called back. But end of the day, this Lions team is where they thought they were. There's a reason why this defense is one of the worst in the entire league. And it's because, one, I don't trust their secondary. I don't trust their linebacking core is not great. And if they don't get any pressure, quarterback's going to tear them apart. It's what's happening. You look at what's going on with the Lions is they are not benefiting from, I mean, like, if their defensive line can't get any pressure against anybody, they're going to lose, and that's what's showing. And you look at what's going on with the Detroit Lions, this is a team that really has, and offensively, you know, they have no run game. So we'll see what happens going forward. All right, now, everybody, when we come back, we're going to talk about what is going on with the Detroit Pistons here on Between Taorminas.
Residents are invited to line the streets of downtown Lake Orion on Saturday, December 3rd at 6 p.m. for the 2016 Orion Area Lighted Christmas Parade. The parade starts at Blanche Sims Elementary School and travels north on Broadway before coming to an end at the Eamon Center. More than 75 community groups, including scouts, dignitaries, and marching bands, will entertain spectators of all ages. And, of course, Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus will appear in person to usher in the holiday season and will attend a meet and greet at Village Hall after the parade. If you'd like to participate in the parade or for more information, including the parade route, visit orionlightedparade.org.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
When I'm in Lake Orion and I want to catch up on sports, I watch Between Taorminas.
Welcome back. I'm Sammy Taormina here. Of course, we got very interesting developments going around. Of course, what's going on in the NBA and also some college basketball in this segment here. So let's talk about first the Detroit Pistons. Now, this is a team that's really been a complete laughingstock. I've called them probably much one of the worst ran franchises in sports. When Tom Gore, I thought when I looked at personally when Tom Gore decided to go take his team downtown to Detroit and merge with the Illages on the new Little Caesars Arena. I think I viewed it personally as a disaster in the making. And ever since he made that announcement, the Pistons have gone downhill since. You know, the last 2 games, they have not been competitive. They have been blown out. They've been just literally not even competitive. And to me, I don't know what it is. To a lot of Detroit Pistons fans, it's sad to see that this team is not gelling right. They're not playing well. And I know why they're not. And I'll tell you why they're not. And it's because they're not a good unit. I mean, why last year this team was the 8th seed? You know, they were the 8th seed, and, you know, they were eliminated by the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then you look at how Reggie Jackson coming back. I think it's really been a downgrade, to be honest with you. And then, of course, you look at, I think the Tobias Harris trade, I think, was a complete disaster. This does not remind me of the Detroit Pistons of the old. When you look at, when Joe Dumars was there, he always had the magic touch. When you look at the Jerry Stackhouse trade for Rip Hamilton, you look at Chauncey Billups coming here as a free agent, drafting Tayshaun Prince overall, 23rd overall. Then you have Ben Wallace, the heart and soul of this team, coming over on a trade with Chucky Atkins for Grant Hill. I mean, and then you look at the Rasheed Wallace trade. I mean, like that, those were great moves that Joe Dumars made at the time. And now you look at what I'm standing, and then you had that downward year from, I would probably say from 2007 to 2012, where I think what in the blue blazes was going on there. You know, that was just completely horrible what was going on with that franchise. And then you look at, and of course, Tom Gore's taking over the team. You know, he's done some good things around Detroit and around the entire state, but I think the biggest mistake was taking this team, going to take them downtown next year. And then, of course, giving the keys to Stan Van Gundy, of course, giving him complete control. And then all of a sudden, like, you look at what's going on with this team. They don't have a cohesive 5 together. They don't have a starting 5, literally. I mean, they're going mix and match lineups. You can't do that in the NBA. You look at it here, when you are predominantly a shooting team, when you go cold, bad things happen. When you're a streaky team like the Pistons are, there's going to be times where bad things happen. And this is a team that's really been, I think, a complete disappointment. And I'm telling you why. Because when you look at the Pistons now, this is a team that was supposed to take the next step up. However, against the Indiana Pacers, against the Chicago Bulls, 2 teams in your division, you're not competitive. And you're going to have to play them at least, I think, maybe 3 more times each. And then this is a team, I just think that, you know, this has got disaster in the making here. And, you know, and I've been very critical of Tom Gores. And I still am very critical of Tom Gores. Because you're moving your team downtown. I think that's going to destroy the economies of Auburn Hills. Because you already have a sports empire that rivals the Illages. You know, you have a sports empire here. You have Palace Sports Entertainment. You're here, and then you have the Illages, which of course own Olympia Sports Entertainment. And now you're deciding to come down and merge them together, downtown Detroit, in the district Detroit, and you know you're going to play your games next year at the Little Caesars Arena, and I just don't think this is going to be. I just don't think this is going to be as good as people think. You know what I mean? So when I look at the Pistons right now, they've got problems everywhere. You know, I think the Tobias Harris trade has been a disaster in the making, and I think that they're not playing well together. They're just not a cohesive group right now, and it's showing. And it's showing why that this team is not a very good basketball team. Do I think it's a playoff team? You know, a lot of people said to me maybe about 2 months ago, I'd say this would be a playoff team. But now I'm saying, you know what? I'm throwing it all in the window right now. They're not going to make the playoffs. I mean, the way they're playing right now, they don't even deserve to make the playoffs. I mean, it's a shame, but it is what it is. And they're right now proving to me that this is a inexperienced basketball team that is a complete joke in society, that this is a team that they need stability, and they don't have that stability right now, and that's why they sit 14-16 right now, because they've gotten killed. They've been losing games, and that's why it's showing right now. Yes. Let's go on to from NBA. Let's go to college hoops, of course. What happened to Michigan State the other night? Michigan State ended up losing to Northeastern. Northeastern, very good basketball team, though, the Colonial. But Michigan State found a way to tie it up at 59 apiece. The Northeastern went on a 17-4 run to stun the Spartans. And it was shocking, to say the least, because Northeastern, they're a very good basketball team. There's no doubt about that. But Michigan State, they look like a lost team without Miles Bridges. And they really have struggled to I think they have an identity crisis when you look at it here, because Tom Izzo likes to be that guy that likes to rebound, out-tough people, and compete hard. They've always been that way at Michigan State, and they're not showing it. And that's why they have 5 losses right now. I mean, you look at, and of course, they've had a lot of scares. Of course, the Oral Roberts game, I think, was a scare for them, But there's probably one bright spot for Michigan State right now that's doing well right now. It's got to be catchy. It's Winston. Of course, the guard who played at University of Detroit Jesuit last year, he's actually done very well for this team. I think that when you look at Winston, I think he's an upgrade over Tum Tum there. And then you look at, of course, they've got to get production from the interior. This is why missing Miles Bridges is huge for this team. And that's why Michigan State right now has 5 losses, So speaking of Northeast, but you got to give Northeastern a ton of credit, though, because this is a very experienced team. They're playing very well. They went and won a big game. I think they won at West Virginia early in the year. I mean, this is a huge, this is a good basketball team. And now, excuse me, when you look at Northeastern, they got to play Oakland on Tuesday night, which is going to be a very interesting matchup, because Oakland University is a team I think that could beat Northeastern. I really believe that this team can beat Northeastern. And I look at a quote from Greg Kelsler. I didn't like what he said about how Oakland's going to have to feel the wrath of these two teams. I think Oakland's got a great chance against Northeastern, because when you look at it here, Oakland's had a week off of rest. They've actually put in some plays in there. They even got to watch the Northeastern game with Michigan State, and those are the next 2 games, because Northeastern and Michigan State are back-to-back games. So when you look at it here, I think it's going to be a close game between Northeastern and Oakland. I think it's going to be – I like Oakland in that matchup over Northeastern, but I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a 6-point game or 5-point game. Then Michigan State, I like Oakland to pull off the upset there. And then of course, the Georgia game, I think Oakland can shock Team 8 and then it's Bulldogs. So we'll see what happens going forward there. Okay, now when we come back, we're going to talk about Lake Orion and also some hockey here on Between Taorminas. Hello, Oakland County. This is Sammy Taormina talking OA Now. In it, we'll talk various stories ranging from the state to Oakland County teams affecting the OAA. Catch us here on OA Now. Hello, Lake Orion. It's Anthony Taormina, co-host of Between Taorminas. I want to let you know of a new show called History Now. In it, we're going to talk about global, national, and political events that occur in our lifetime. We're going to also have guests and also have co-hosts as well, and also plenty of surprises. Catch us on History Now here on ONTV. Welcome back to Between Taorminas. I'm Sammy Taormina here. Of course, we got our third and final subjects today. Of course, we got hockey to talk about. Of course, the Detroit Red Wings played the Carolina Hurricanes, and they were just postponed because of bad ice conditions. But also, now they got to play Tampa Bay next. So, to me, at Detroit, they're not that good. They They had a nice win on Anaheim the other night. And, of course, but that loss to the Arizona Coyotes still stings. So if I'm Detroit, I'm not making the playoffs. Be happy with that. Let's go to a real team. That's the Dallas Stars. When you look at the Stars, of course, that's my hockey team. When you look at the Stars, this is a team that really has had a nice win the other night. They're starting to get it together. They finally found a goalie in Anthony Niemi. They snapped the Flyers' 10-game winning streak, made me real happy. But when you look at the Stars, defense has been a huge problem for this team. And then when you look at Dallas, the way that they've been, I think they found a goalie in Anthony Niemi. And I think the reason why Niemi's been playing very well is because he's benefited from playing at home. When you're a goalie and you're playing at home, it benefits you. It benefits you. It benefits the team. It kind of helps them. When you look at the situation, how that is adjusted and everything there, I think when you're playing well at home, it's going to help you in games. But you're going to have to win games on the road, and that's where I think the Stars have struggled. Now, I think defensively, you got to give Lindy Ruff a lot of credit for adjusting to the defense, but also you got to give the Stars a lot of credit for basically just battling. I'm a little concerned about the teams they're trying to catch, especially because the Stars have played more games than some of the teams in the league. So that does give me a concern going forward. So I think if I'm Dallas, I'm all right. I think if I'm the Stars, I'm all right. If I'm a Detroit Red Wings fan, it's time to panic. And I'll tell you, and that's pretty simple, straightforward in that. Okay, now let's go to Lake Orion sports. Of course, Lake Orion basketball. Of course, the Dragons boys basketball team right now is 0-3. When you look at the boys right now, the reason why this is still a young basketball team, you kind of want to give them a pass. I think for who they've had to play. Had to play Troy, had to play Clarkston, and they've had to play Avondale. All three of those teams are very good teams when you look at those matchups. So they play Romeo on Tuesday night, which I think is going to be a very interesting game. Romeo sits coming in, I believe they're 0-4. They played a very tough schedule in the Macomb Area Conference. But I think when you look at how these two teams are, both teams are very young. Both teams are determined to get a win. And I think it's what's going on right now is, Lake Orion's had a week to prepare for Romeo. Romeo just played on Friday night. So it's going to be very interesting in the field house on Tuesday night between Lake Orion and Romeo. I think both teams are very similar, and I think it's going to be a very interesting game going forward between the Dragons and the Bulldogs. Now, of course, when they get back from break, you got to play Royal Oak on the road, which I think is going to be a very interesting game. Royal Oak's coming off a blowout win at Clawson. They still got some tough games coming up. They got to play at Oxford on Thursday, which I think is going to be a very interesting matchup. And they got to play Avondale on Tuesday, which is going to be a very difficult matchup. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a tough couple games, I think, for the Ravens. These next two games against the Yellow Jackets and the Wildcats for Royal Oak. So it'll be interesting to see where the boys basketball team goes in that stretch. Now the girls basketball team, this is a team that sits at 3-3. In my opinion, I think I've been very disappointed with them because when you look at the expectations of this team, they've had a lot of. This is a team that has a lot of excitement. When you look at, but they've also got some issues. When you look at when a team shuts down your best player, predominantly Maddie Novak, then you're gonna have to have other people step up and score. They've not been able to do that. When you look at the games when you look at the Rochester Adams game, I gotta give Adams a lot of credit for what they did against Novak. They shut her down, and then you gotta look at what happened against Clarkston. They shut Novak down, and and I think when you look at it here, I don't know if this team really has this is a 3-3 team right now, and there's a reason why they're 3-3. And I don't know if this team's got it's got it right now, and that's saying a lot when you look at what's going on with this team. There was a lot of expectations coming in. Of course, they were ranked 7th in the county to start off the year. Now, do I think they can still finish that? Yes, because when you look at it here, it's only December. We're not into March yet, and that's a very dangerous month coming up. We're not into March yet, and we're not even in the league play yet. So, when you look at this team, they've got a lot of issues they got to adjust. They got to address. Of course, I don't know if this team's on the same page or not. I really don't know if they are. But when you look at this team, if they get on the same page, this could be a very dangerous basketball team. Despite the fact, yes, they're young. But when you look at teams that are young, they've managed to have success. When you look at teams around when you look at other teams, especially like predominantly at Bloomfield Hills, it was very good. And then you look at a team like Royal Oak, who's going to be very good in your division. So it's going to be I think for this team to gel, they're going to have to bond. You know what I mean? And it does take time to build. But if there's one thing that this team needs to do, they're going to have to gel. They're going to have to fix things. And it does start with Groves when they play on Wednesday night. Groves a very high octane team. They put up 74 against Clarkston. But this is a team. This could be a shootout in the making. So we'll see what happens going forward. So we'll see what happens with this matchup going forward with the Lake Orion girls basketball team. They got to fix some things. They got to address some things. But we shall see what happens going forward with this girls basketball team. My final thoughts here, of course, when you look at the Lake Orion basketball team is going to have to. The boys team, I'm not pressing the panic button on them just yet. Neither is the girls, but I think the girls have got to address some things, especially team chemistry issues there. But also, they really got to start bonding with each other. That's what I think is going to. If they start doing that, then I think they could go somewhere with this team. I think this team could go somewhere. With the guys, just keep fighting the course. Just keep following the course. It's been a tough start, but we'll see what happens going forward with this team going forward. So, so don't press the panic button yet on any of these teams yet. But the reason. But both teams are off to a little rocky starts, so we'll see what happens going forward with each of these teams going forward. Okay, now everybody here, I'm going to sign off here. You take care, everybody. Merry Christmas to everybody here, and enjoy Christmas. Hope Santa Claus gives you some gifts, great gifts. You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm going to get for Christmas yet. I know a lot of my colleagues think I'm getting coal, but who knows? We'll see what happens going forward. All right, now, everybody, I'm signing off here. Good night. God bless all. See you next week.